Hello traders, Kelly254 here, and today I'm back with another video. So let's get straight into the video. I'm going to create a bot for this comment here, whereby it's a rise and fall bot that uses Bollinger Bands and RSI. When the market is under the middle line of the Bollinger Band and the RSI values are 45.01, 45.02, 45.03, then purchase rise. Then on the falling side, when the market is above the middle line of the Bollinger Band and these RSI values are 62.00, 62.01, and 62.02. So let's get started. First thing first, we're gonna reset this workspace. So after resetting, basically I'm gonna delete these selling conditions because we will not use them. So then after setting up that, now I'm gonna show you where you'll locate the indicators block. So when you find these blocks collapse like this, just find out the analysis section. Analysis usually contains the blocks for basically the analysis part. So when you click analysis, the first row on the analysis section is just the indicators. So on the indicators, once you click like that, you're gonna find the Bollinger Band and the RSI. Bollinger Band, so this is the Bollinger Band right here. So you're gonna drag it into the workspace and then click indicators again. Then you're gonna go down, you'll find RSI as the, not this one, should be the other one, just above this one, RSI. So we're interested in those two blocks. So the first one is Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band block looks like this, and you can set a variable of your own kind. So for instance, for this one, I'll demonstrate how to adjust this variable. Maybe you want to call it a name that you can easily remember. So maybe I call it middle Bollinger Band. So you can just come here and then select middle Bollinger Band. So middle Bollinger Band, you can now select what value do you want to attach. Is it for the middle band, for the upper band, or the lower band? So in our case, we are interested in the middle band as requested by the comment. So the upper band, if you want to deal with the upper band, or rather to this variable to hold the value for the upper band, you just click the upper band. If you want this value to hold the value for the under band, or rather the lower band, just click the lower in this drop down. Basically, I'm just explaining this so that if you want to use the Bollinger Band block for your own custom logic, you can use it, because my main goal for creating this video is not basically just for that comment, but for you to get the entire concept around how that block is used. So we're gonna leave it as middle, and then input list, we're gonna use the tick list. Gonna use the tick list for the input list. Basically, you can use an on custom list. If you create one, you can create a sub list from this tick list. So this tick list returns 1,000 ticks. So if you are not interested in 1,000 ticks, you can create a sub list just by going to the list section right here. Then you will get a block right here for get a sub list. So if you want a sub list, maybe you want to deal with 100 values, then more than the values must be more than your period right here. So we're gonna use the standard inputs that have been set for the blocks. That is the default. So on the RSI block, we'll do the same. We'll use the same tick list. So this block will return the value, the middle band value in this variable, and the RSI block in this variable, also the RSI variable, then it will return the RSI values based on this period. So having reached that step, now we're gonna attach these blocks right here in the purchase condition, and the other one just below the first block. Then after we have done like this, we have started, we are almost done. So I'm gonna create a logic block right here. logic block right here. Then I'm gonna put else if. So I'm gonna drag this one right here. Then right here I'll explain while I had the logic. So as it is, just delete this block. So as it is, it's almost done. So if now we start, we are supposed to have one side taking rise and the other side taking fall. So if the price is below the middle band, is per the condition. If the price is under the middle line of the Bollinger Band, that's the middle band, and the RSI values are these. So we're gonna set up. How do we know that the price is below the value of the middle line of the Bollinger Band? To know that the current value, or rather the current price of the market is just basically the last tick. So you're gonna use the last tick to determine where exactly is the market as of the last tick. So as of the recent tick. So we're gonna utilize that last tick block. So to compare, to know where it is, since this block returns the middle value, the middle line, or rather the middle band value, we're gonna compare. So if the last tick is less than the middle band, basically the price is lower than the middle band. Just basically like that, directly. So we're gonna introduce the logic. So this block right here, and then you're gonna grab the last tick. I'm gonna repeat that logic, so don't worry. Last tick. So if last tick is less than the middle band, so I'm gonna go to variable, then pick the middle band. So basically, this middle band variable will return what is the current value of the middle band in the chart. Okay, and then the last tick will return what is the exact position, what is the exact last price is of the market. So the middle band, since we are interested in the last digit, since we are interested with the price being below the middle line of the band, then that means that we should have the last tick less than the middle band. So I'm gonna put some notification right here, so you'll be able to see a few logs about the last tick and the middle band. So if the last tick is less than the middle band, and so we're gonna put another compare block. So go to logic, then compare, then logic, then logic operation. So I'm gonna duplicate this block severally because I know I'm gonna use it severally. So if the last tick is less than the middle band and the value of, now we're gonna go to the value of RSI 45.01, 45.02, 45.03. So, and the RSI value, since we have a certain range, then we can utilize the range. The range is greater or equal to 45.01 and less than or equal to 45.03. And the RSI value, so we're gonna pick the variable RSI. RSI value is greater or equal to 45.01. I'm gonna go to maths. 45.01. So I'm gonna remove this block a little, then add this block, and RSI value again is less than or equal to 45.03. Let me just confirm. Yeah, 45.03. So let's confirm. So basically, if the RSI value is between this range, RSI value is greater or equal to 45.01 and less than or equal to 45.03, and the last tick is less than the middle line of the Bollinger Band. So if this is the case, now it's supposed to go to rise. So let's drag this block and attach it right there, and then we're gonna duplicate the same block and then attach it right here. So just basically the same. So now for the falling side, the request was when the market is above the middle line of the Bollinger Band. So basically for it to be above, it means that it is greater than. So the last price, the last like price is literally greater than the middle band. So we're gonna change this sign from less than to greater than, and then the RSI value should be between the range of greater or equal to 62.00 and less than or equal to 62.02. Greater than or equal to 62.00 and that's basically 62, and less than or equal to 62.02. So if that is the case, then it's gonna go to the fall side, and that's just literally it. To repeat the logic just for once more, so this block right here, this variable right here will hold the value for the middle for the middle line of the Bollinger Band. This RSI variable will hold the value for the RSI. From the request, if the value of, or rather if the price is less than or below, if the price is below the current value of the Bollinger Band and the RSI value is between the range of 45, this one 45 to 45.01 to 45.03, then purchase rise. And if the price is above the middle line of the Bollinger Band and the RSI value is between 62 to 62.02, then basically purchase fall. So we're gonna put a text notification right here to see the value of RSI and the value of the price, the current price value, and the value of the middle line. So we're gonna put a text right here, and then we're gonna set last tick is equals, then we're gonna attach the last tick block right here. This last tick in this case is the price, is the current price value that we can have. The recent one that you can access in the bot is this one. So after that, I'm gonna split it so that it's visible in a better way. So like that. So on the next one, I'm gonna label it middle Bollinger Band is equals, this is the value for the middle Bollinger Band. So we're gonna attach the middle Bollinger Band variable right there, and for the last one, we're gonna call it the RSI value is equals, then you're gonna attach the variable for the RSI. Normally these strategies that need indicators, sometimes they usually take time before they get an entry. So not sure if we will wait all that long, but this is exactly how you're supposed to do it. I've explained the logic of the bot. So let's wait. Let's see. So I've dragged the notification block right here so that you can attach this text to this notification so that this block notifies you on the journal part. So text, and as usual you can change the colors from there, you can change the sounds from there if you want any sound, but in our case we do not want any sound. If you noted, you have not used any loop, because we know the bot automatically loops these purchase conditions block by default until it's able to purchase. So that's an automated loop, but if you want you can add loop. But in the case now, you could have set here, now if the conditions meet, break out of this loop instead of purchase, and then you could have now attached another variable to determine, to set the state of the bot. Is it going rise, is it going fall from the loop? Yeah, so we're gonna run. So I'm gonna pause for a minute, then I explain what exactly is happening. So last tick value, basically the last market value, or rather the last price ever that was given to us. That's in this case it was 98.95.65, and then you got the middle Bollinger Band value, which is 98.96.05, and the RSI value it's 20.54. And in our case, we are supposed to be having what range? 45 to 45.03. So you can see how deep, or rather how low it is. So in comparison with our logic, that last tick should be less than middle band or greater than middle band. So in any case, right here, last tick ends with the 98.95 and middle band is 98.96. So it is greater than. By the first condition, it is greater than. And this RSI value should be between 62 to 62.00 to 62.02, and in this case it's right at 20, so it can never happen. It could not take any contract. And on the other part, you see this the last tick right here is 98.95 and this one is 98.95, so you compare the decimal. So right here is less than, because this one is 98.95.88. I'm not sure if you're able to see. Let me just zoom it a little bit. So you can see this one is 98.95. Let me just highlight it. 98.95.88, and then the last tick is 98.95.34. Basically, the last tick is less than the middle line, or rather the price is less than the middle Bollinger Band. And then if it's less than the middle Bollinger Band, we're supposed to have the RSI value between 45.01 to 45.03, and the current RSI value is 16.36. That's why I was saying bots that use indicators sometimes can take time before they get an entry, but that's the whole thing that that's how you're supposed to go about it. So we're gonna run it. We're gonna give it maybe some few 1 or 2 minutes, and then we see how it behaves. Could probably get, you have seen how the RSI fluctuates quite fast because we are using ticks. We're using these the input right here is basically input list is tick list. Basically ticks change that rapid. So let's start it up. You can see the RSI value is already high. So we're gonna review some logs. And see why probably it did not purchase. So you can see still not yet, it has not gotten any entry so far. So I think you can maybe pause it at that point and then review some few logs and see why did it not take any contract. So let me pause a little bit and then I'll just review random logs. So starting with the most recent one, this one. Last tick is, let me zoom. Last tick is 9893.83 and Bollinger Band is 9893.83, basically at the same level. So nothing will happen because this one should be less than, and the other one is greater than. So there's no less than or equal to. That one wouldn't have taken any contract even if these conditions had aligned properly. And then you see we have fixed conditions right here. So because of the fixed conditions, you have very low chance of getting a contract even if we run this thing for hours. So let's analyze also the second one. Last tick is 9893.64 and middle Bollinger Band is 9893. This is 9893, so we compare the decimal, which is 9893.86. So Bollinger Band is greater than the last tick. So last tick is less than Bollinger Band value, but now the RSI should be between 45.01 and 45.03. So this one is 40.21. So you see, for this tiny difference, because we need a difference of from 0.01 to 0.03, that's like 0.02, like a gap of 0.02. And when you try to check on the trend, you can see how big the RSI shifts. So probably we may not get an entry from this even if we run it for hours, unless you get that one lucky opportunity, even if you try to review them. So let's see if there is any value that got 45 to start off, 45 or 62. This one got 62.4, and from 62.4 it jumped all the way to 66, because our conditions are very strict. Basically, this line means if this value is true, this value is also true, and this value is also true, then execute this. So if none or one of these is not true, then nothing will happen, basically. So for this one, RSI is greater or equal to 62 should be true. So that means that for this condition, even when the RSI is 70, it's true because it's greater or equal to 62. But this one is not true because it is above 62.02. So it should be between the range of, for these two statements to be true, should be between the range of 62.00 and 62.02. So hopefully I've explained these for in the layman terms for one to understand. So that's just literally it. So I'm gonna relax these conditions So I'm gonna use a bigger ranges. So I'm gonna use 40 and maybe 55, just for us to see if it will take a contract. And then I'm gonna use maybe 60 and then 65. And then I'm gonna rerun again. So you're gonna see we already took a contract right there. I'm gonna review that one. We see how comes we took that contract. Another contract. You see, by widening the gap for the RSI, we kind of have some contracts running, but now it loses the original logic is required by the owner, because you can see you have having some rise contracts right there. So I'm gonna pause and to review those moments that we have taken a contract. So for rise to happen, last tick should be less than the middle band. So let's review. Last tick is 9896.99, band is 9897. So already it's less than, because this one is 98. Let me just zoom so that you can view well. 9896.99 and 9897.24. So basically last tick is less than our middle band. So that condition is true. We proceed. The RSI value should be greater or equal to 40. What's the value for RSI? It's 40.98. So it's greater. And the RSI value, so this one is also true. And the RSI value should be less or equal to 55. So is 40.9837 less than 55? Yeah. So the conditions becomes true and the system will execute that contract. So comes to the other part. So definitely the other part is not true. So gonna go to the next one. So 9897.08, and then you got the middle Bollinger Band being 9897.33. So when you compare the decimal, you see the last tick is less than the middle Bollinger Band value, and the RSI value is between, also 41 is between 40 to 55. So that's just literally it. So I've done that relaxation, so you can see how exactly it will execute the contract using the indicators. So for the owner of the video, for the owner of the comment, I would recommend using the same setup. You can readjust the RSI values. You can readjust the input list. You can there's a couple of stuff that you can readjust to suit your logic, so that it gets entries and at the same time it's still profitable. So you can adjust also the period. There's a couple of stuff that you can adjust right here, but you need to get your math or rather your mathematics right before adjusting these periods, because you are dealing with ticks, and ticks fluctuate quite fast and they change rapidly. So that's just literally it about how you go about creating a bot that actually uses indicators. So yeah,